Hey y'all.
Hey,
It's Charlie.
it's Lonnie.
And welcome to Her Soft Space. So today we are going to talk about comparison cultures in social media. So y'all know this is a Lonnie's thing because we're going to get deep into our mental health with this and how to not be crash outs. But y'all know I'm going to say what I gotta say. Okay. So I guess, Lonnie.
So, first and foremost, I have been reading this book, which I'm going to kind of shout her out. So, this is called Killing Comparison. Reject the lie that you aren't good enough and live confident in who God made you to be. It's by Nona Jones. So, if comparison is something that you deal with, or if it's something that you just want to know more about, then I highly suggest this book. Y'all see I have these sticky notes on here. I have stuff highlighted and everything. So some of the points that we'll be talking from come directly from this book.
And I'm going to read the book, y'all. I'm not going to have all the sticky notes and stuff like that, but I'm definitely going to read it because I think that is important. So even if you are team crash out with me, I would suggest that this be something that you read.
So let's get into it. So comparison. Well, first and foremost, for you guys, like, what does comparison mean to you? What does it look like? Does it make you feel good when you do that? Do you do that? So that's something I know that I had to do some self-reflection on, and I do.
I think for me as well, I compare myself in certain areas as well. My whole life is not compared to things, but a good portion of it is. Not all my comparison comes from social media, though. Sometimes it comes in just life and how we go about things then. So, yeah. What about y'all? I want y'all to write in the comments because we hear a lot of people say, "Oh, we watch," but we want y'all to engage with us.
Please do.
Yeah, I promise we won't bite unless you want us to. I tried to stay serious, y'all. I can't help it. All right. But no, seriously, tell us, how do you compare and how does it make you feel? And sometimes my comparisons feel good. Sometimes they make me go into a manic state.
Same.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely same here. I think so. Honestly, when I even think about comparison, I always think about, like, you know how you can be out. You might be with your homegirls, or you might be with your dude or your girl, whatever. And I don't know, you could just be kind of chilling. And some lady, woman, whatever, walks in, and now all of a sudden it's like everybody is like tearing apart her outfit. Or you kind of like, one thing that I used to do, let me just bring it back to me. One thing that I used to do was I used to kind of, if I'm out somewhere, if everybody else is not like dressy or dressed up or whatever, I'm comparing myself to what everybody else looks like. And that then determines whether I feel comfortable or if I feel uncomfortable. Like, if I feel like I'm overdressed, then now I'm going down the rabbit hole in my head of, why in the world did I wear this to this event? Instead of me like pulling confidence, out of that, it's like I'll just be like I'm so out of place. I'm sticking out like a sore thumb. People probably looking at me like, where she thinks she was going. And I mean, it just takes me down a rabbit hole of stuff.
If you know me, okay, shade. All right. Okay, we going there. It's okay. Lonnie trying to get me back. It's all right. So if you know me, I'm always overdressed. I'm probably overdressed right now. You know, because I came from school today. So, but like if you know me, I'm always overdressed. You're gonna look at me in my outfit, and I think it depends on what crowd I'm in. Mm-hmm. So if I'm in a crowd and I'm just with my people and I'm chilling, I'm at a party type thing, I don't really care. I think the only time I care about what I have on is if y'all know what I say about the dude in my life. If I am in an area where his other Sally Sues and stuff is there, then I may pick apart what I have on. Mm-hmm. Just be like, okay, do I look overdressed? Do I look like I'm over trying? You know, because one, I don't like the competition thing. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's like, am I overdressed? Am I trying? Does it look like I'm trying? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or is it? And sometimes I look and say, or am I underdressed? And they look better than me. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to clothes. Mm-hmm. But that's the only place where really, and school, obviously. Mm-hmm. School. Mm-hmm. So those are the two places where you can get me bothered about what I wear. Any other time, though, I'm pretty chill. Like, I don't care. My cousin tells me all the time, Lee, I told you to dress down. I did. And at this point, she don't even say it anymore. She just kind of says, what are you wearing? I'm like, or I go to the point where I'm like, what you wearing? So I can know kind of what your dress down is today. Because sometimes she'd be like, dress down, and then she in heels. I'm like, okay, well, I'm in heels anyway, but you know what I'm saying? I'm glad. But like yesterday, I went to an event. It was a business professional event. I walked in there, y'all, because I was at the college. Y'all know I go to A&T. I was at college. I walked in there. It looked like everybody was part of the Men in Black. Mm-hmm. They all had the black suits on with the white shirt. And I come in there with a dress. It's still a business dress, but it's like a blue, tan, and white dress. It came down to my elbows. It came down to my knees. You know what I'm saying? I was still dressed business professionally, but everyone else had on the Men in Black outfits. So the whole time I'm looking like, am I overdressed? Am I doing this right?
I know that feeling.
Yeah. So sorry, y'all. Like, am I overdressed? Did I dress right? Was I supposed to be all black and white? And then I seen one of the girls today. She was like, oh, you didn't wear that yesterday. It's like, no, because I don't see where you need to be wearing black and white for a business professional. Like, I'm so glad I didn't wear, because this was one of the, I was like, oh, I can just wear my little sweater. And I was like, nah, I'll wear this dress. It's easy, quick. I walk out the door. But it made me think the whole time, like, you know?
I don't understand that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's some unwritten rule that you're supposed to wear.
I think that nowadays, and me and my professor was talking about this today, I think that nowadays they think like they're taught black, white is the go-to. Like I was even talking to a student today, and she's like, did you go? I was like, yeah, I went. But why did all they needed was the shades. And I swear I would have been in a Men in Black movie, okay? I would have, because she was like, well, that's how I go to, you know, if you don't got nothing else, you got that. I'm like, yeah, but they don't teach you that you can do gray, you can do tan, you can do blue, white, cream. Well, not white, but cream. Heck, even if you had burgundy pants on and put on a black shirt and a blazer. One girl had on a emerald green blouse with black pants. She didn't have a blazer on, which would have made it look better. Obviously, that the event that we went to, they required a blazer. They didn't send no one home yesterday, but they just gave you a heads up. Hey, this is our first one, but we will require a blazer. But I was like, yeah, your shirt. I'm like, her shirt is fine. Put on a blazer, and she's dressed business professional. But they're teaching these kids that the black and white. So anyway, that made me feel like I was out of place. And like I said, those are the only two places. The school, because I don't want to look too old, but I don't want to look like I'm trying too hard. Yeah. And then when I'm at events where, and I may pick myself apart sometimes, especially with this boot on at both spaces.
The boot?
Yeah. I just feel so, first off, I feel crippled. Two, you see me, I wear heels all the time. Even when, like, so the ankle is not broke, it has a small heel on it. But most of my heels are higher. I'm short. So I make myself taller. So, and you can't strut in a boot, y'all.
Well, no, you can't. No, you cannot. You cannot. I get it.
I don't look like strutting in a boot. You're going to be looking like that, Charlie. What is your cripple behind looking? Yeah. No. So I just, especially with this boot on, I just compare myself in those spaces even harder than I already would have.
Okay.
I don't dress bad, but I'm 35 and these kids are 18 to 21. I'm actually on campus. I'm not online. So.
Yeah. I've experienced that too.
Yeah.
I was 35 and pregnant on a college campus.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah, somebody asked me the other day, I went to an event with one of the sororities and it asked me was thinking about it. And I have thought about sororities. I just I'm not sure, right? And my thing was, am I too old or do I just need to wait until I graduate to get in somebody's later chapter if that's the path that I wanted to choose? I may not choose that, but I'm in college and so everyone acts as you. And so my thing is, am I too old to do that? To enjoy, you compare yourself to that too. So that's where my life comparison as far as.
Yeah. I guess the example that you were given earlier made me also think about if you're dating someone and you see their ex, like, do you go into a space of comparison? In other words, between like what you look like and what she looked like, or even comparing like what you know about the relationship that they may have had with the ex compared to the relationship that y'all have. I mean, just stuff like that. I did it. So that's how I know. I've done it before. So
you know what? I still do it. I don't ever want to be with my daughter's dad. Do you understand what I'm saying? Ever in life again. Okay? He can be the last man in this world and I'm just going to go to a woman. Okay? I might not even go to a woman. I would be alone. If it was choose him or be alone for the rest of your life, I'm going to go get me some cats. Okay? But every single time he get a new girl, I do compare us. Like, do I look better than her? Oh, yeah. And so far, I've been the winner. So, I think I do like even with, my son's dad, I compare all the time. And 75% of the time I've won those battles too. So probably 85 for real, if we're being honest. But I'm like, okay, well, you're a baddie. Because I have to do not because I feel like it's important, but it's a ego boost for me. Listen, when I got with my son's dad or started talking to my son's dad, his ex-wife, when I met her, even back then, I didn't really have the esteem problems that I have grown to have. Back then, I was a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? I was a lot skinnier. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wasn't, yeah. So, and when I compared the two of us, besides her having a career job, like, I felt like I came out on top.
Mm-hmm.
And so it didn't matter to me. And I think that's what helps me get through a lot of that. Is that when I look and see now, like I said, it's been a couple, I'm like, I get it. Like, I get it. I understand. She's gorgeous. It don't even that she don't even the few who have, there's only like 3 or 4 of them that have, I'll be like, okay, I get it. They didn't even have bodies. You feel what I'm saying? But they were like, you can feel their energy and they were pretty in the face. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just a lust thing type. It might have been, but like looking at them, it was like, oh my God, I understand. She's gorgeous and her energy is beautiful. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even talk to these people. I just, sometimes you can walk by and just like, oh my God, like, you know? And so for me, that gives me a point of, okay, maybe I need to fence my energy, not for him, but just for me. You know what I'm saying? And I compare myself to wives sometimes too. Like, if you're married, I compare myself because I'm single. Okay? Been single for a long time. And so I compare myself to that too because I know I want relationships. I also be comparing myself to women who been married 2 or 3 times. I'm like, now what the heck? How you finding 3 men in your lifetime that's willing to marry you? What the heck am I doing wrong? I want to know the tricks and all that good stuff. Maybe I'm not tricky enough, you know.
Oh my God.
I've been thinking it.
Well, I mean, definitely before I got married, before I was in my last and final relationship, I used to do the same thing. I used to think that there was some kind of secret formula to helping some of these men kind of get to a place.
Okay.
Even asking or proposing or whatever.
It's like the Krusty Krab, and I'm plankton.
Okay.
And I'm trying to figure out like the secret formula. Give me the formula.
Yeah.
Like
I was the same. Yeah, I did the same thing. But I guess after, it is no formula. Let me just say that. It's no formula.
She married y'all. I don't believe her. Krusty Krab saying give up the formula.
It is not. There is no formula. When that person decides that they are ready to settle down, they will.
Can I find somebody who is wanting to settle down? That's the first step. But yeah, I compare myself in that sense of, like I said, going to the college, then of course relationships. Yeah. I mean, I got some more comparison, but we'll talk about it as we go.
So one of the points that she makes, I don't want to call her Nona. Her name is Nona. Okay. One of the points, though, that she makes in the book is that comparison makes what never mattered before the thing that matters most. So, like, have y'all ever found yourself in a space of comparison and you're comparing something that you never even thought about or that was never really important to you before, but now it's like the thing that you're laser focused on now, just because you may have saw somebody else with it or saw somebody else do it or have, it may be a feature or something that somebody else had. And now it's like you're locked in on that.
Yeah. So for me, that is mostly like my following on social media. Or the friendships from social media. Just not being able to, before I never cared. Like I have less than 500 friends on Facebook. And if I get to 700, I start deleting folks. Who haven't I talked to? Who I don't want to talk to no more. Mm-hmm. Like I delete people so much because for me, it had never been about having tens of thousands of people on my Facebook page. Just because I meet you once doesn't mean that me and you need to be in my personal space. And for me, Facebook is a little more personable than any other social media.
Mm-hmm. It is.
So for me, people on Facebook, I'm not going to say any because my Instagrams and TikToks and stuff and threads are fine. But for my Facebook, I've never been like that. But now I'm seeing people local gaining acknowledgement. And I'm not saying they hadn't worked for it as long as I have, but I feel like I've been working for it for a long time. And that they are growing and having an acknowledgement longer than I have and been farther than I am. So now where I'm like, oh my God, why haven't I got that? Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's not because I want the popularity, but it's because I feel like the work that I'm doing is going to help somebody. And so why haven't I been able to openly help different women? You know what I'm saying? How am I not a pillar to making women see that what I'm saying, what I'm doing, that some of them need it? And so that's where something I've never cared about before. And now I think about it.
Yeah.
I struggle with it a lot. But that's the only thing that I really, my clothing, my wear, a lot of that, I never thought about it until the two places where I told y'all the last statement. I never cared. Like I'm gonna wear whatever I want to wear.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Mm-hmm. I mean, me and Lonnie have been in the same cruise group for the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. I'm always overdressed, y'all. I'm not lying when I say this. Like, let me tell you the difference between me and Lonnie. Lonnie be in like slides and some capris and a shirt, okay? I'm there with like, yeah, I'm fancy, okay? I got on a dress. It depends on where I'm at. I might have heels. Now, I do have little, but even when I'm like in my little slippery slides, they have a small wedge on them. Like, yeah, I'm always like that. So I don't, like, that doesn't bother me until certain places. That doesn't. Mm. But not being able to help women like I know I'm meant to be, like I feel God has showed me for years. Mm. You get what I'm saying? And if I'm saying, okay, God, I'm going to help these women, I'm going to be more open. And then someone who I haven't known as long, but she is doing whatever, comes in and do it like that, I have a problem because why? Bitch, you ain't doing much of shit. Like how you just saying a few words that is messy and everyone is like, oh my gosh, she helps me so much. How? You know? That's one of my things. Yeah. I'm gonna get off that soapbox though.
Yeah. That was deep.
I was I'm a little pissed off. That is one of the ones that kind of pisses me off a little bit, y'all, because I just want to give so much to other people. And so yeah.
I've been sitting here trying to figure out a time that I compared, like that I found myself in a space of comparison. And it was around something that really wasn't important to me at first, but then it became important. And I cannot think of a time right now. I'm not going to say I haven't done it because I'm sure I have, but I can't really think of a time that I did that. if I do, then I'll circle back around to it. But I can't really think of a time I've done that before.
That's good.
Yeah, it almost feels like it's too good to be true. So that's why I'm like, I'm sure I've done it. Maybe it's just not coming. It's just not coming to mind right now. I don't want to make up nothing. So
No, I get that. And I think I was able to come up with something because it's actively bothering me. Yeah. So,
yeah.
But I mean, if nothing comes up, I mean, I think you having that, I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I guess another point too that Nona Jones makes in this book is that she talks about like how at the root of comparison that there's usually some form, of course, of insecurity, right? But at the root of insecurity, that's pretty much when your identity is built on an insecure foundation. So, like, if your identity is then tied to things that can change, that's not really considered a secure identity. So, like, if you're basing like who you are, how you show up, what you look like, what you believe in, things like that, based off of another person, people change. People change. And the other thing is, people only show you what they want you to see.
Mm-hmm. It's like the iceberg.
Yep.
I had to learn that too, because I think when I was going through life and I was like at a low esteem place, I used to compare myself to people a lot, like everything about people, like every single thing. Like my life was just not of me. And I had to teach myself like the iceberg, where we only see the tip of the iceberg, whatever's above water. I learned that a couple years ago, which has put me in a much healthier space as far as my esteem goes.
Yeah.
You don't know the work that people did to get there.
Right.
So.
Right. I think it was, I don't know, I don't even want to quote this incorrectly, but I've heard so many times that that comparison is the thief of joy.
I can see that.
So, like, are you really able to be? So, there's a difference, first of all, between happiness and joy. They are not the same. Mm-hmm. Joy is like a longer lasting feeling, emotion, or what have you, whereas happiness, you can have happy moments, right? So, happiness is kind of like one of those things that comes and goes. However, if you have joy, even when you are going through challenges and things like that, joy doesn't go anywhere. Joy is with you. So if you are in that space of comparison, is it possible to have comparison be in the same space as joy?
Can comparison be in the same space as joy?
Mm-hmm.
I think it depends on how you are comparing. Mm-hmm. Because remember that when I told y'all that I compare other women? It gives me joy that most of the time I am better. Okay? Listen. Because you having more ass than me does not make you better. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're a butterhead. That's one girl. She's just, body's bad. But even then, she looked like a giant, okay, compared to me. So I compare that, right? And I look at her and I say, okay, Charlie, you're smaller. You're shorter. You don't look like you're a giant. Like, I go through all this, y'all. Like, I actually just went through this. There's another girl who wears a bad wig all the time. Like, I don't know why she keeps putting wigs on. Her hair is very nice, her natural hair. And every time I see her, guess what? My wigs are never bad.
Mm-mm.
Guess what? That brings me joy. So, it depends on how you're comparing yourself. Because yeah, on the days where, okay, y'all know shit. I know she don't like this, but we better go there.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. I compare myself to Lonnie sometimes.
We're not doing this.
I'm just saying, I compare myself to Lonnie sometimes. Now, some days I be like, dang, I ain't quite there. And that does not bring me joy. All right. Just saying. My best friend, Batty, just like Lonnie, right? They in the same category. Some days I be looking at her like, dang, not quite there. But there's other things that my best friend doesn't have. And it's not envy or anything. Just there's other things that my best friend doesn't have that I have. And I'm like, okay, that makes me feel better. There's a balance. You get what I'm saying? No? Doesn't make sense? Why not?
Because I don't want to talk about it.
Oh my God. Y'all, listen. I compare. Sometimes I mean it's healthy. It's not like I'm walking around here like, oh my God, Lonnie, the ground she walks on.
No.
I'm not doing that. But it's just like some days, you know, like one, I don't know why God didn't give me an ass, but he gave her one. Okay. I look at that. And I just think that it's courageous that she went through, you know, her relationship that she spoke about on this podcast. So they ain't talking about nothing crazy. And then now she's married. She's one of those women where I'm like, she had 2 kids and she got married, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not there yet. That's a comparison. Okay? I can't never get my hair to look curl like that. I would like a tennis ball. My hair is not going to stay like that ever. I just wish I could make. Y'all see my messy bun? I try to make one. I didn't know she was going to wear a messy bun. Otherwise, I would have chose something else.
It's just quick. It's a quick thing.
I didn't know she was going to wear one today, too. I just assumed she was going to do something different. So I made a messy bun. But you see where it's in? It's in braids. My hair would just look like a mess in a bun. I compare myself to that because I be thinking, like, how can I get my hair?
It's products. That's all it is.
I could use the spit of God and my hair would never be in the messy bun like that. It just doesn't. I know the texture of my hair, you know? So I have a few friends who can do messy buns. Guess what? I compare my hair to them all the time. And I'd be really upset. And I'll be like, Lord, I hope they get bald spots. I don't really mean it. But it's just sometimes the wish brings me joy. You know, because I do hate on her messy buns because I like messy buns. I have 3 friends who have great messy bun methods. For a long time, I thought it was only a white girl thing. So when I found out that Black people can do it, I am envious of that. That's a comparison. And it brings me joy sometimes to just be like, I just hope they just take it out and because I can't do it.
So what do you think it would be like without comparison? Like if there was no such thing as comparison?
As y'all just heard me say, I don't think there's no such thing as comparison. But when you're younger, you don't compare. I think, so an example, because we always talk about what we're going to talk about before we get on. And like I was explaining, there are some things that I just knew I always loved. I love color contrastions. I love the contrast of colors. But like there was a house that I remember, and it was a lilac house with the yellow door. So pretty. Butter yellow and lilac. So gorgeous. No one knows about this house. I passed it. I think my aunt might have passed it, but like we had passed it at one time, and I remember that house. It is such a gorgeous house. It's so pretty. It's actually the start of me liking baby doll houses. I don't know if y'all know what those are, but I love baby doll houses, but that was the start of it. There was a wedding where everyone had on all black and then they had orange flowers. The bride had on orange flowers. The dresses were all black, but they had orange flowers. The men had on all black with the orange little handkerchief and like stuff like that always has made me excited. I love weddings and things like that. So I've always thought like so when I back in the day, way back in the day, it's been a good, I don't know, it had to be like at least 15 years now that Atlanta Housewives came out. And they used to have a lady named Lisa on there. I haven't watched it since then. So I don't know if she's still there or not. But she was an event planner and a fashion designer. And when I saw her throw a fashion show, she was the event planner for it. And it was her fashion show. When I saw that, I said, that's what I wanted to do. I never compared myself to her, though. I just found, oh, there's a lane for me. It was a goal, that I wanted. There was a goal, and I saw a path. I never compared myself to anything else, though. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I started making, even though I'm not there, I made steps towards that. Never to compare myself. I wasn't going to Atlanta. I didn't plan on going to Atlanta when I first said, "Oh, go." You know what I'm saying? I know I didn't think I was going to still be in North Carolina, but I definitely thought like, "Oh, I can do that. I can have fashion shows. I can have events. I can do both and not miss out on the things that I love the most." It was never compared. I mean, when you're a kid and you're not comparing yourself, you're just saying, "I want to be this, and this," or I see I can do this. Where my daughter she was younger, used to want to be a circus dancer. She don't know them folks. She never compared them. She just saw that they were dancing in the circus. She wanted to do it. That's not comparison. That's just her goal. And I think that's what life is without comparison. It is being true to yourself and giving yourself the dreams to be what you want it to be.
Yeah. I guess when I think about that, like I think about me being a therapist. I purposely will not like dig into what other therapists are doing. And that's just so that I can stay true, exactly what you just said, so that I can stay true to myself, because I know that it's a passion of mine. I don't compare like for example, the devotional that I just wrote. I didn't go and look at what everybody else was doing, even though I was encouraged to. There was a publisher that I had talked to, and she pulled up all these examples of other people's devotionals and things like that, and was like, well, you might want to do what they're doing and that kind of thing. But I already knew that God had already told me to write this devotional. And so my thing was, I'm going to go according to like whatever he tells me to do, from the cover to the contents to the back cover. That was all like designed outside of this publishing company. I mean, like they formatted it and stuff like that, but I didn't go look and see what other people were doing to determine what I would do. In other words, I didn't go and look to see like, okay, well, other devotionals are formatted this way. He had already gave it to me. So I do feel like the things that we're passionate about, especially the when you're talking about like operating in your gifts and talents and things like that, I feel like you don't need to necessarily compare yourself to what other people are doing, because in those situations you're setting yourself up for failure.
Well, but there's a twofold to that. And this is why I said that, because when we were thinking about this podcast, I listened to podcasts.
Okay.
And not because I wanted to follow other people, because I knew what I wanted to do, but I wanted to know, like, are people actually listening to people who are talking on a recording? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of podcasts that I had been seeing happened to be virtual podcasts on Facebook. They were only doing podcasts via a Facebook Live.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't recording and then uploading. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In a sense that the same way we did. So I wanted to see what that was like.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so there was some where they had music playing in the background. She was only 10 minutes. It was very nice. It was called a podcast, but I mean, it was different.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was another girl who she was just reading down off her notes and telling us stuff, right?
Yeah.
Then there was a couple that I even went, not a couple like a couple relationship. There were two friends, and they talked. And so I looked at them. Well, how did they correspond? Did I want to be like that? They seemed real chill, relaxed. They were in sweatpants and on a beanbag. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, I don't really want to do that because me and Lana ain't about to be on no beanbag. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so it really wasn't me trying to follow what they were doing, but it was more so of me just seeing who was in our lane and how long had they been in our lane and what are some of the things they talk about? What do other people want to hear about? Who commented on what? And honestly, we don't follow none of that stuff. We're nothing like any of the ones that I actually listen to today. Like, we're totally different. And I think that made me feel good too, because it's not like anybody else that I've come across. Now, there might be someone somewhere I might not cross paths and we might just be a little similar, but for podcasts that were geared to women, and the ones that I was listening to, because I listened to some white women as well too, but I listened to them, and then I listened to some of us, and then I listened to singles, and then I listened to duos and stuff like that, and I like the fact that everybody who was geared to women, everyone who was geared to women, and then everyone who was geared to Black women in particular, we were different. But I didn't listen to it to get notes or anything like that. I just wanted to know, I guess, what we were up against. But that doesn't hold in my head.
Yeah. We talked about that before we started this episode. So let me backtrack and say I would have been setting myself up for failure if I would have went out there and looked at what everybody else was doing, or not necessarily everybody else, but just if I had taken the time to go and look to see how other devotionals were formatted and stuff like that, it would have added an extra layer of doubt for me.
Understood.
And I may not have been able to finish it.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I think I would have probably went down the rabbit hole of.
Because you're an overthinker too, right?
I am.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. And I try not to be.
I overthink in some places, but I think for me, because I know I joke around a lot, but this has been in the works for years. And I didn't start listening to the podcast until 3 months before we actually started taping, maybe 6 months. So we kind of already had our notebook kind of put together before I even did that. And then on top of that, this is God ordained, even though we joke a lot. We ask God to lead us. Even if I come up with a topic, I pray about it and I sit with it and I write my notes. Right? Same with Lonnie. If Lonnie comes with a whole book of notes, and I'll be like, all right, let's get rolling. So I think that helps us too. Because don't get me wrong, I've been working on a project for a while and I've been trying not to read other people's books. I want to support some people, but I just haven't done it yet until my project is done. That makes sense.
Yeah. So maybe in your self-reflection time, or just, I I don't know, if you journal or what have you, but just thinking about like, what would it look like to not compare? And is it possible to use comparison like in a positive way? So I don't feel like comparison is just all the way just negative. I know that when we first hear the word, sometimes the first things that we think about is something like along like negative lines or what have you. But definitely for business people, for entrepreneurs and people in marketing, just, those kinds of avenues, comparison is actually like a tool that's used in order to maybe identify like markets that are not tapped into, and things like that. So definitely don't want to give comparison a bad name or anything like that. But yeah, for some things, comparison can actually be something positive. So what are you using comparison for? What do you use comparison for? Like, do you use it in a negative way? Do you use it in a positive way? And how has it benefited you? Like, could comparison help you kind of level up, or does it feed your insecurity?
Yeah. Yeah. And also with that insecurity, my thing when we were talking earlier, one of the things came up was envy. With the insecurity, do you become envious? Like I told y'all, I compare not in a bad way, but to my friends. And y'all know I call myself the Duff
We
of.
are not.
Y'all know I call myself the Duff. If you don't know what that is, look it up. So, and I guess it's some people, they like, oh, she's shaking her head. Y'all see that? They go to therapist shaking her head, y'all. But I do that, and some people don't like it. So and so like sometimes it can create an insecurity. It can, especially with y'all gotta realize I am 5'1" and I'm over 200 pounds right now. I am trying to lose weight. Now that my ankle's broke, I can't go to the gym like I want to, but it can just kind of sometimes make you feel like you're not the best. You know what I'm saying? So, so sometimes it can create envious, and I've had to look into myself sometimes because I have done it to examples that I've stated earlier before. Won't repeat it because then I might get smacked. Y'all know she a Gemini. She try to act cool on the screen, but I've done it to my best friend and to sometimes, and I just I had to say to myself, okay, what is it? Especially when you're in a dark time. I'm not gonna say it happens all the time because today there's no green in me, right? But like on the times where like you just feeling like crap and you just wonder or you're just thinking, you know, poised people sometimes, quieter people, and people who don't talk as much as me. Anyway, yeah. It's a thing sometimes. I think that we have to kind of like just know the boundary or the line. But I don't think it's bad to compare yourself. And I don't think that it's unhealthy to be envious sometimes either. I think there's a line. Now, if I came in here next week with my roots black and my pom-pom blonde, and like then y'all, okay, something's wrong. Like, you get what I'm saying? That's an obsession. But when and I'm only using her because she's sitting right here, right? But it's just easier. Y'all, I'm a visual person. Visual. Okay. So like if I came in like that, then y'all gonna be like, okay, Charlie, what are you doing? Right. But as long as I stay true to myself and just say, like, okay, this person, blah, 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 they bring out the best in me in this way. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Okay.
But if I come in here with a blonde pom-pom next time, y'all know something has gone haywire. Comment, Charlie is haywire. So I know, might be crashing out at the moment. You never know.
I agree with part of what of what. No, let me be serious. I agree with part of what you're saying in regards to how like comparison can be used like in a positive way, even in that, even in that kind of an example, because first of all, it kind of causes you to analyze the things that you do like about yourself. And then it also, if there are things that you want to like alter, improve, whatever, then I could see that, as long as it's not that, copycat kind of thing, but you do it based off of who you are and your lane and how you're unique. Some of our differences, actually, some of the things that we become the most uncomfortable with that about ourselves, those things tend to sometimes be the things that make us the most unique, and it makes us who we are. It sets us apart from everybody else. So.
It does. I have an awkward sense of humor, as y'all can tell, but that makes me unique, right? I can giggle at anything. And Lana be over here rolling her eyes and shaking her head like, if this girl don't shut up. But I be over here just
cringing.
And I be over here just laughing away. I think it's funny. You feel what I'm saying? But that's what makes me unique. And there was a point of time where comparing myself to others, I wouldn't be this funny. I'm actually a funny person. There's only one person in my life who calls me corny. Well, I am corny, but they try not to laugh at me, right? But most people laugh at me because I be so serious, but it'd be so funny. And so like sometimes you have to look at that. Now, everything is not copacetic. Like sometimes you have to look at yourself and when you want to go in life and say, hey, XYZ. Sometimes you're not even comparing to other people. That just was a light bulb. Sometimes you're not even comparing to other people. Sometimes you're just comparing to where you want to go.
Yeah. That's a good example.
Yeah. Sometimes you're just like, okay, this is where I want my life to be. What do I need to do to be there? And, that's how I got into back to school. I could probably do it without school, but it'll be a lot easier if I'm me going through the path that I'm going through. So plus there's some other goals that I have that requires me to go to school. So, but yeah, I think sometimes you have to compare your dream to where you are right now and say, okay, this has to change.
So, that makes sense. See?
So yeah, I definitely think that comparison can be for the good. And y'all know we already, and it's another note that I have here about the ego boost, but I think we touched on that because remember that comparison I do? it boosts my ego. Do you ever have anything that boosts your ego?
I don't know. Not anything that I do. I think I'm still working on placing more emphasis on what people say to me than over, like what I believe about myself. I tend to question myself a lot more than I question like other people, depending on who it is.
I understand that. I just think like if I had Lonnie's ass, y'all, I would compare myself all the time. Like, yeah, her butt ain't bigger than mine. That's why God didn't give me a butt.
We have a soft note.
I'm telling you, that's why God didn't give me no butt. Because he know if I was walking around with her waist and tail, I promise you, I'd be like, yeah, you see this booty? I promise you I would. But he didn't give me. Well, he did give me. What he didn't give me was hips. I got butt. I just don't got hips, so it doesn't look as appealing. But I promise you, if I had like hips and ass, like God, I promise you, I would compare myself all the time for an ego boost.
We have a soft so I'm gonna read it now. Right now. Okay. So our soft note for today says, are you building a life you want or one that looks good to others?
I am building a life that looks good to others. I am. Oh, you wanted me to lie? Okay.
No, I wasn't expecting you to say that.
No, for real. Like, I am working on it. Y'all know, journey. I'm working on it. But as I told you earlier, before we start talking, where I was very open. I used to have a segment called Unmasked. And I would tell what I would go through as far as my depression and all this. And this lady was like, why are you saying all that? Nobody wants to read that when they get on social media. Mm. And she was a marketing person that I had connected with. And like, she kind of switched up on me anyway. From where we were just cool, cordial. We did great. We had an event. Everything was like copacetic. And then like out of nowhere, she kind of switched up on me anyway. But when she said that, it made me feel like me taking off my mask was the wrong thing to do. I felt like I was faking in life. And so I was unmasking, telling the truth about depression and just, you know, everything isn't what it seems. And so though I want things to be the life that I want, I often find myself suppressing me. I think the realest that I am on social media is when I'm on this podcast. The giggling, the laughing, the talking. Like you might catch me in my stories where I'm being Charlie, but as far as permanent post, a lot of times if I do put it out there, I delete it. Even when, say, me and Lonnie are out in the same place, I'm a total different person. I see you, I say, hey Lonnie, how you doing? But I keep it moving. I'm very I still kind of have my stuck up ways when I'm out. We're a little different. Like I will go talk to Lonnie in that space, but I'm only talking to you. If anybody else from that group was to talk to me, there was one girl who was trying to talk to me the whole time. And I'm looking at her like, oh, okay. And I went to you and we laugh and kiki and haha. You know what I'm saying? I don't give everybody me, Charlie. Like if it's not my family, you know, you and I are, you know, on here and just open with each other. Like you just, you know, she knows more than what she would normally know if she wasn't with this podcast. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, you're right.
There's a lot of things that I've had to open up and tell you because we're on this podcast together. You know what I'm saying? Where I've had to like cry about topics that we are talking about so that she knows where I am. So I'm able now to just be Charlie or Charlisa even. You get what I'm saying? But even then, a lot of people aren't allowed to even call me Charlisa, which is my government name. You know? Just told the whole internet that. But which is fine because I don't mind sharing it. But it's just, it's not something that I just like. Someone asks me my name, I'm going to say Charlie. Do people know that Charlie's is my government name? Yes, I put it over on the internet before. People know it. It's not a secret. But typically, people get Charlie, who is very closed off, very stuck up in people's head.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So a lot of times, and I'm not trying to build one that looks good for people because I'm trying to fit in anywhere. It's just the fact is I just don't want to over give myself and until someone tells me, well, why are you doing that? No one wants to hear that. And it's just, I'm working on it. Starting, see, look at this podcast. Okay. So yeah, that's my answer. I am building Charlisa as if there's two people, is building the life that she wants. Just social media wise, that iceberg is definitely a thing. And a lot of people see Charlie, who is very composed and not as open as she should be.
I definitely understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting when you first started talking. That's why I was like, "What?" But when you started explaining, though, that does make sense because I think in a lot of ways I feel like I'm similar because I don't, unless I'm at an event where I'm there to tell my story or whatever. I think that's the most vulnerable, like people have ever seen me in public anyway. Cause like Charlie and I would be at the same event sometimes. And I remember her or whatever, but I used to definitely like keep to myself a lot. I would speak and everything like that, but you wouldn't really catch me like in a group, like talking and, laughing and all that stuff. Not like that at all. But definitely since doing this podcast, I think I have, because we've created it to be like a safe space. So like when we have a topic coming up, so that neither one of us are caught off guard, trust and believe between the two of us, we kind of know, okay, I'm going to kind of do more talking in this area because I know that this is a touchy area for her. And same thing, like with me or whatever, like I might become mute on some things, but Charlie already knows why. And so we just try to like compensate, for those things for the podcast. But outside of that, I don't open up easily to people at all. At all.
Even with this podcast, I didn't quite open up at first. I tried to keep a couple things in the and then Lonnie just came out one day and was like, so and I was like, okay, we're going there. But it has, this one thing I've noticed about this podcast is that it helps me. And it's one thing that we both think about besides the video.
Yeah.
And we are texting. We may not be able to get on the phone call all the time, but we're texting and, responding. Lonnie does a bunch of the notes because half the time I'm like, hey, you get that? I am not the note taker. I am definitely like, and I can remember what was said, but I don't remember the, like, what's that one important thing that I need to remember for real. So I think that makes it good for us too. So we do actually have, because I wish I could take mental notes in a meeting or have my points. I just be like, I get here and I'm like, okay, this is what I want to talk about. And I write down, literally, I have one page of points where we were talking about it and I wrote down some stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, that's our soft note for this week.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah. Y'all, please. respond to the request. First of all, the request for soft notes, like we want to be able to provide information, conversations, and things like that people want to hear about. So the only way that we really know that, I mean, we can guess all day long, or we could talk about things that we think, might be interesting, but we also want to hear as well from you guys in regards to what are some questions that you and your good girlfriends talk about, or what are some questions that you might even have in the phase of life that you're in? We go through challenges and transitions all the time. So send in your soft notes. In regards to this soft note, though, we still want to hear what your answer would be. Like, do you feel like you're building a life that you want, or are you building a life that looks good to others? And I know at first it might sound like, because when I first looked at this question, I was like, well, I'm building a life that I want. Are you really? Are you really?
And I had to think about it when we looked over this. I literally had to be like, okay. I have to be honest with myself, because I want to be honest with you all. I want y'all to know that you're not alone if you are building a life or making your life look good for others. My goal is not to live for others, obviously. And one day I would get back to that point where I feel like I'll be able to share as much as I want to and give as much as I want to without being judged. But until then, right now, you guys see the tip of the iceberg. It is what it is. So one day I'll be able to talk about all of it. Well, we talk about it here, but y'all know, in other spaces.
Yeah.
So I think that's it.
That's it. Another episode.
All right. I will see y'all next time. Y'all stay soft.
All right.
Bye.